Hey, what's up guys? Next test in the demo series, the Microtech Select Fire. And I have a bunch of cardboard, and I'll be doing this video slicing cardboard with this knife as well as another version with the Kershaw Needs Work, just to give you a comparison. Alright, so it may seem a little boring, but it's a demo. Just a big old piece of cardboard, big one. And I'm just gonna try to cut thin strips of this, and we'll see how far it goes before it starts dulling up, and if it doesn't dull up, because I'm just going to cut this one thing of cardboard because I do want to continue these tests using a somewhat sharp edge. If I cut cardboard until it gets dull, I'm not going to be able to use a knife for future tests without sharpening it. I don't want to sharpen it myself. I don't want to alter this factory edge. That's important for this testing. So anyway, you know what, let me grab a piece of paper just to show you that it is still, you know, paper slicing sharp. That's pretty much the standard now. I would imagine it's accepted as the standard test, so at least you guys can know, you know, how sharp it is compared to your knives. So easily slices through paper, not a problem. Alright, so there you go. Just gonna start cutting this cardboard. I'm actually gonna turn the camera down a little bit in here so you can actually see what's up and what's down, what's going around. Alright, so cardboard slicing. You can see, obviously it's not, let me get it all in frame so you can see everything. There's no point in me doing things you can't see because it's supposed to be a test. So I want a weird angle here. I want to show you as much of this as possible. Alright, so obviously Microtech Select Fire, cardboard cut tests. Alright, I'm going to try to get this as thin as possible. So we'll see what happens here. Now, keep in mind one other thing too. When I'm doing these slices, I'm trying to use the entire edge. I'm not trying to push cut one spot. I don't want to wear down one spot of the edge. I want to use the entire edge here, okay? So as I'm cutting, I'm going to start, let me give you this angle. I'm going to start with the heel towards the ricasso, and then as I'm slicing down, I'm using the entire edge here, all right? Going through the cardboard here, it's a breeze. It's really, really comfortable. There's not much resistance. The blade is a little bit on the thicker side, beefier, but really it's buttery smooth going through this cardboard. You see, I don't get really stability if I hold it up so you can see the entire cut, but I'll show you all the strips when I'm done. Try to get these a little bit faster. Don't want the test to be too boring. Alright, well that's about half the cardboard. I'll cut the top off here. See how this is a flap? I didn't have that on the other side, but I'm just going to cut that off real quick. You can use the rest of here for this piece of cardboard for my Kershaw test. I'm going to angle this up a little bit. Back up to me. Hey, how's it going? Alright, cutting cardboard with this knife. I mean, obviously if I go through tons and tons of cardboard, it will eventually dull. Cutting paper and cardboard is, they're abrasive materials and they will wear your edge down. Alright, but as you can see, it's razor sharp. It's not really any problem whatsoever. You still get nice thin cuts on here. I mean, you know, it's a sharp knife. It's working great. As far as like resistance, I'm finding when I get towards the middle of the blade here, which it seems it is at its thickest, there's a little bit of resistance. It's not really stopping completely, but there's enough resistance for me to be able to tell. All right, but I mean, it's a sharp knife. It's gonna cut through cardboard for a while. I just don't have the cardboard to keep cutting through, and like I said, I want to keep somewhat of a sharp edge for the other tests. Now, what this test is also good, besides just showing the edge retention, it also is going to tell me if there's any kind of hot spots on the knife when I'm gripping the knife. When you're doing a lot of heavier cutting like this, specifically when I cut different types of plastics, and there is more resistance, even if you have a really sharp knife, it's hard to cut through thicker plastics. Sometimes when I'm cutting through a lot of straps and it starts dulling on me, and specifically rubber, any kind of tubing or any kind of rubber at all, you have a lot of resistance. You're really gripping down quite hard, and you're going to know if there's any hot spots. And what I mean by that, any spots on the knife where it's uncomfortable, digs into your hand. Ergos on this are fantastic. I am holding it with my finger in this little finger choil here. All right, when I first took it out of the box, this is somewhat pointy, and it's somewhat a kind of a candy cane shape as opposed to a full half circle. Like on a lot of the Kershaw knives, excuse me, not Kershaw, Spyderco's, the finger choil is literally like a half moon, and it's very comfortable. This, you can see how it slopes. It comes up like kind of a half circle, then it's just an abrupt straight line. So I don't think it's as comfortable as, say, the Spyderco's or any knife that has a full half circle, at least for my size pointer finger here, but it's still comfortable enough. And I thought this little pointy part would jab into my finger, and it's not an issue whatsoever. Choking down on this doesn't give me as much control. Still equally as comfortable. I just happen to like to choke up on my knife when I use it. That's my preference. I can tell you that there's no real major hot spots except for the tip of this pocket clip. The tip of the pocket clip is pushing right here on my hand, inside my palm, when I'm really kind of digging down into there. Right now it's not an issue. I can tell you the way it feels right now that if I were to cut for, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that, continuously cutting, it would probably make my hand a little bit sore. So in this case, the pocket clip is somewhat of a hot spot creator. Just the tip there, you can see how much is coming off the edge of the knife, and it is quite large. All right, so just some other points to have made. So cuts cardboard pretty well. I already have a huge mess here, so I might as well keep cutting. Let's see if I can let's see, what can I do besides just let's strip this down lengthwise, see if I can do that. The interesting cardboard cut test. Just kind of take the layers out here. See if I can do that. Not cutting all the way through. Alright, well, we'll do that. Not really not showing anything. That doesn't really prove anything at all. It's a sharp knife. I mean, there's not much else to show except for if I were doing longevity until it actually got dull. Now that would be a good test if you just literally took two knives, compared them against each other, went to see which one would literally hold an edge longer. But I don't have enough cardboard at the moment to do that test. This somewhat brief cardboard cutting test is to tell me if there's any hot spots on the knife, and to just tell me how that's going to feel going through the cardboard, if there's going to be any drag. Like I said, very little drag towards the middle of the blade here. The tip, fairly thin, glide through really easily. Another thicker piece here. That tip, there's no resistance at all towards the tip. And then the heel, same deal. Same deal with the heel. I don't really feel much resistance at all. When you use the very center of the blade where you have most of that belly, there's just a little bit of resistance, but just push through and it's fine. Seeing that it's still nice and sharp works just great. So that's just a cardboard cut test with the Microtech Select Fire. I did have a conversation with someone via private messages. They said, you know, obviously it's a really nice knife. It's very close in price to a like a small Sebenza. Do you like this more than the Sebenza? They're two different knives. I would say the build quality of this is just as good as a Sebenza, in my opinion. Of course, if you don't like the overall design of it, which some people don't, they think that they're pretty ugly. That's opinion. I love the handle. I think it's comfortable. I think it looks cool. Some people might think it's a little bit too Batman-ish, and it is ugly to them. That's okay. Blade style is pretty funky. I do like it. I would have, if this was like a quote-unquote dream knife and I could modify it any way I wanted, I would probably give myself a spear point style blade or a straight clip point style blade. Pretty much everything else the same, just the blade style overall. Maybe a full flat ground clip point, that would be pretty sweet. That's just my preference. I do like a fine tip, so clip point blades for function is awesome, in my opinion. You know, you go back to the original like Buck 110s and stuff, they just work. They work fantastic. But as far as appearance, I happen to like spear point blades for the overall look. Kind of funky, something different. It's chunky and funky, but it works great. So just a little demo with cardboard. So that's it. You'll see a video pretty soon of me doing the same thing with the Kershaw Needs Work to give you a comparison between like a $30 knife and a $300 knife. Is this worth 10 times as much as the Kershaw? That's going to be up to you to decide. They're two different knives. You know, they both offer different things. So anyway, that's it for this test. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your time as always, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.